Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most creative, most story-driven parts of the Chinese language. So forget boring flashcards and rote memorization for a minute. We're going to look at some Chinese characters as what they really are, these brilliant little picture puzzles, just waiting for us to solve them.
All right, I'm going to throw you right into the deep end with a little challenge. Let's say we've got two simple pictures, one for the sun and one for the moon. If you put those two ideas together, what new concept do you think they would create? Go on, have a think about it. If you guess something about brightness or light, you are absolutely on the right track. See, the secret here isn't just about sticking two pictures next to each other. It's about fusing the ideas, the meanings behind them, to create something totally new and often a much deeper idea. This method basically turns these characters into tiny visual stories. Now, this awesome method actually has an official name, and it's the secret key we're going to be using today to unlock everything. It's called Huiyi. So let's break down exactly what that means and how it works. Okay, so here's the textbook definition, but don't worry, it's way simpler than it sounds. Huiyi is just when you take the meanings of two or more characters, which are usually simple pictures themselves, and you bring them together to make a new character with a brand new meaning. It's all about blending ideas. All right, let's grab our detective hats and open up our first case file. We're heading right back to that puzzle from the beginning to officially solve the mystery of what happens when the sun and the moon meet. Okay, so here are our two clues. On the one hand, you've got Re, that's the character for the sun, and on the other, you've got Yue, the character for the moon. Each one is a major source of light, right? One for the day and one for the night. And when you put them together, bam, you get the character Ming. The story here is just beautiful in its simplicity. What are the two brightest objects we see in the sky? The sun and the moon. So when their meanings meet, they create the whole concept of bright. It's just a perfect fusion of ideas. Let's move on to our next case and see how this idea builds. This one isn't so much about objects. It's about a very specific human action, and the visual story it tells is just fantastic. Our clues this time are Shou, the character for a hand, and it's placed right above Mu, the character for an eye. Just picture that for a second. What are you physically doing when you put your hand over your eye like that? You got it. This brilliantly creates the character kan, which means to look or to watch. The story is literally that gesture you make when you're trying to see something far away, or maybe shielding your eyes from a really bright light. That exact motion is captured forever right inside this character. How cool is that? Okay, our next case file tells a really warm, really human story. This one's not about an action or an object, but about a feeling, a state of being. So here are the clues. On the left, we have the character Nu for woman, and right next to it, Zi, which means child. What beautiful idea do you think gets created when you put a woman and a child together in a single picture? Together, they form the character Hao, which means good. The story behind this comes from a very traditional idea that seeing a mother with her child is the ultimate picture of harmony, of completeness, of all that is good in the world. All right, for our final case, we're going to see how this whole meaning-meeting logic can be leveled up, using repetition to show quantity and build a whole new environment right before our eyes. It all starts with one simple picture. Mu, a tree. Easy enough. Now, what do you think happens when you put two trees side by side? You get lin, which means a small grove or woods. Makes total sense. But what if you want to show a huge, dense, massive forest? Well, the character creators did something brilliant. They put three trees together to make sen. You see, in Chinese culture, the number 3 often just implies many or a lot. So this character is basically shouting, there are so many trees here you can't even count them. So, here's the crucial point, the main takeaway from all this. The Huiyi method isn't just simple addition. It's more like a chemical reaction of meaning. A sun and a moon don't just equal two bright things. They create the abstract concept of brightness itself. A woman and a child create the feeling of good. The result is always, always greater than the sum of its parts. And honestly, learning characters this way changes everything. You stop memorizing and you start investigating. It's like you get to be a little detective, breaking a character apart to find that hidden story that's locked inside. So the next time you see a complex character, don't be intimidated. Just ask yourself, okay, what's the story here?